And action. Hello, friends.
Hello, friends.
We're on the internet.
We are in the air.
Crawling through the interwebs.
I like it.
Hey, you guys played any golf yet?
I haven't. Have you?
No.
I played 9 holes.
Yeah, I'm hoping to, I think next week or the week after.
Yep. We'll have to get out this summer.
Yes.
Lord knows we're going to have free time.
Oh, that would be fun.
I'll come down to Alma. I haven't played Miracle Hill in years, so I'll have to come down and play with you guys sometime.
Absolutely, man. 402-498-0220 for all you people watching right now. Give them a call. They're open. Social distance. Call them.
Another great local business.
This is
For God's sake, call them.
Conductor of 1620. The Zone.
Chris Basnett joining us from the Lincoln Journal-Star, HuskerExtra.com.
Have you ever had a show that you loved to join, held them close to your heart like a commemorative coin? Let me tell you a story of my situation. I used to join the best show in the U.S. nation, but all of a sudden, some youngin' came to be and stole all my thunder at 1620. His golf sure is a dope he wouldn't hesitate to lend. The boys at Unsportsmanlike Conduct told me he was just a friend. You got what I need.
He's just such a natural.
But you say Chris is just a friend. But you say Chris is just a friend. Oh, baby, you.
I think the sky's the limit.
You got what I need.
I don't know if you learn a lot of these things.
But you say Chris is just a friend. You say Chris is just a friend.
It was perfectly boring.
Man, you can tell that we are in an industry that does not typically do video. I mean, Baz is a writer. We're broadcasters on the radio, and we're acting like goofballs on Stibbs TV. But as I said in the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed, you got to listen for the takes, but you got to watch the Stibbs TV for the hats. And today we've got a nice cornucopia, including the Nebraska The Good Life hat.
Hell yeah.
That Baz is rocking today. That looks just like the sign that greets you as you leave the prison known as Iowa.
Wow.
And come into the state. I'm going with the Montreal Canadiens. Josh is on dope.
Yeah.
I'm wearing a shirt from Triple B, man.
It's a pretty accurate hat for a lot of reasons.
Hey.
And Stibbs is wearing the 1620 The Zone hat. Stibbs, why are you going with the Coke mask right now? Is there like people in there that you're deathly afraid of?
Well, yes, but also it kind of has that effect like those thunder coats have for dogs. When I have it around my face, I feel
calming.
like I'm being hugged a little bit. It's kind of
yeah.
I haven't had a hug in like 3 months.
I'd like to hug you.
Yeah, I'd hug you too, Baz.
Wait, did you say you haven't had a hug in 3 months?
It's been a while. And you're not supposed to touch anybody.
But the COVID didn't start for were you like ahead of the curve on the COVID-19?
Yeah, nobody liked me, John. I thought
He's been social distancing for about 15 to 17 years now.
He's very good at it.
Well, Baz, as we bring you on here on the program, Chris Basnett, our Friday friend from the Lincoln Journal-Star, we just mentioned in the last segment that Oklahoma has become the latest school to announce its intention to have kids on campus this fall. Missouri did yesterday. But then we had a friend of the program email us, and this story just popped up that apparently during a town hall remote meeting with Chancellor Ronnie Green, that the university has told its professors and chancellors and deans that they intend to be in class this fall, which is interesting. Now,
there you go.
They certainly, again, these are all intentions. Things obviously can change, but it is interesting that we're now starting to get some of these conversations taking place in the schools saying, hey, this is our plan. And Baz, as we've been hearing from college administrators and athletic directors for the last couple of weeks, step one is you got to have kids on campus before step two, actually trying to play any college sports.
Yeah, you got to get the people back. And look, these guys aren't dummies. They know what the economic driver is at a lot of these places, especially in the athletic department. Nebraska is no different than Missouri or Oklahoma or Texas or Colorado or Kansas in that regard. If you're going to play football, you better be able to have people on campus. So it sure seems to be trending that way. Now, like you said, who knows if that's going to happen or not. Fred Hoiberg a week or two ago said he wanted to have his basketball team back on campus June 6th, so who knows if that's going to happen or not. Everybody's got a lot of grand plans and things they'd like to do, but like everything else, we just don't know. But I guess you could probably call this at least a positive direction, that there appears to be some momentum towards getting things back to somewhat normalcy.
Baz, I don't know if you had a chance to see it, but earlier this week, Brett McMurphy had a story on WatchStadium.com polling athletic directors, and 99% of them believe that there will be a college football season. It was just kind of when the season will be played, where they had different opinions. 24% said it would start as scheduled. 20% said conference-only season starting in October or November. 41% said a 12-game schedule also starting at that time of year. 3% said conference only in the spring, and 11% said a 12-game schedule starting in the spring. Of those 5 options, and once again, we're all just guessing right now, which of them seems maybe the most likely to happen or the least likely to happen to you?
Yeah, I suppose, a lot of it ties back to what we just talked about with getting people on campus. If you get students on campus in the fall, then that conference only thing kind of seems like it might have the potential to happen. Now, whether there's fans in the stands or not, who knows? That's one of the many variables you'd have to figure out. But, I think it's going to be all tied to everything else. Can we get students back on campus safely? Are we able to test, people at a number that allows us to do this safely? Can we test our football players? Can we test our student body? Can we test staffers? It's all that stuff. To me, I want football back as bad as everybody else. And if that means starting football in October or November or whatever it may be, I'm fine with that. I think it'd be kind of cool to see Nebraska having to play a game in December against whoever, to go to a bowl game or whatever it may be. Then you play your bowl games, in February or March or whatever it ends up being, so I think that'd be kind of cool. But, again, I think a lot of it's going to tie to when can you get students back on campus? How soon can you ramp up testing for the number of people that you need to test for this to happen?
If it wasn't, if we assume safety, which is, of course, what we have to in this argument, if we assume that safety can be attained in terms of playing with COVID-19 in our midst, which of the scenarios is the most appealing to you?
The most appealing? Well, I think the one that gets them back on the field the fastest, just from a fan standpoint, you want to be able to watch a game or go to a game or cover a game in our case as soon as possible. Now, from a safety standpoint, spring seems like a lot better option, when we're further down the road as far as maybe a vaccine or testing capacity or whatever it may be. And it would also be kind of interesting, maybe the basketball season gets delayed too, and we're playing basketball and football at the same time in March and April and May or whatever it may be. So it kind of depends on your own personal preference. From a fan's standpoint, yeah, we all want it back as soon as possible, and we'd love to have that back as soon as possible. But from maybe a practicality standpoint, spring maybe looks like the best option.
Baz, were you surprised at the news that came out yesterday about the name, image, likeness stuff and the NCAA seemingly fast-tracking this? Like, it looks like they're going to be voting on it as soon as next year and allowing for relationships with straight-up boosters, allowing for perhaps, and this is just going to be something that they throw out there, an Adidas school to allow players to have sponsorships with Nike. Like, I think I was surprised at a lot of stuff. What did you make of that news?
Yeah, I was maybe a little surprised at the effort to fast track it. I thought it was probably going to happen eventually. I think we all probably thought it was going that direction, but just to see the NCAA come out and say, yeah, we want to get this voted on as soon as possible and move forward with, that's maybe the surprising part. Oh, hang on. We got a guest here.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Here we go.
Fine.
There he is.
Hey.
Looking good.
Yeah. Furry pawing at me, wanting me to open the door. All right. There you go, bud. It was surprising because it's the way that the NCAA worded it seems to give a lot more freedom to the athlete than even some of the legislation we saw. I think it was California said that if you're an Adidas school, then you can't do ads for Nike or whatever it may be. So it almost seems like it gave a little more freedom in some cases than some of the state laws that are on the book. So that part was maybe the most surprising to me. But yeah, I think the trend was that we were going to go in that direction at some point, but to see it get fast tracked like this, maybe it's just, kind of a continuation of the momentum from, spring sports waivers and maybe potentially passing the one-time free transfer rule and all that other stuff. I think you're just kind of all seeing, so you're starting to see that stuff kind of build on top of each other.
Chris Basnett from Lincoln Journal-Star, our Friday friend, joining us here. And by the way, we are streaming live on Stibbs TV. You can watch us right now in the stream at youtube.com and just look up Stibbs TV. We've sent the links out via the J-Tech Construction Zone Twitter feed. Were you surprised, A, that the Joe Burrow story of not coming to Nebraska or being spurned by Nebraska was even mentioned last night? And B, was that a bad break for Nebraska, or has that story passed enough to where Nebraska's reputation is not going to take a big hit from this?
I wasn't too surprised by it. I mean, it's juicy, and the people that don't maybe know the story as well or know the origin of the quote about is he better than what we've got, then it becomes a lot more juicy. And yeah, it was a bad break for Nebraska. There's the saying, no, there's no such thing as bad publicity. Well, when the guy's the Heisman Trophy winner and the first pick in the draft, and Scott Frost is getting raked over the coals, on the one quote unquote live sporting event we've had the last few weeks, then yeah, it's a bad break. Does it matter in the long run? Probably not. And like anything else, if Adrian Martinez goes out and wins 9 or 10 games next year, then people are going to forget about that pretty quickly, So yeah, for one night, it was a bad thing, but in the age we live in the social media age we live in, where things news one day and it's forgotten about the next day, in the long run, it's probably not going to be that not that bad of a deal for Nebraska.
Yeah, and the funny thing too is, and I think if Joe Burrow were to be honest with you, he would say this is the best thing that ever happened to me. Like, forget about the motivation aspect, which that certainly seemed to be a positive for him. But of course, he's not going to win a Heisman at Nebraska. He's not going to win a national championships. Like, this ended up being the best thing for his career. And I almost wonder if why is that getting lost so much whenever we talk about it?
Totally agree. Let's just play hypothetical and put Adrian Martinez on that LSU roster and put Joe Burrow on the Nebraska roster. Then what does it look like with Adrian throwing to those wide receivers behind that offensive line with that running back behind him? It's totally different. And yes, is quarterback the most important position in football? Of course it is. But it just, I think, is such a stark reminder of you've got to have the right pieces around you, right? Yep. And that Adrian Martinez didn't have a ton of weapons and a ton of depth around him last year. And look, he's had his own struggles too. I'm not trying to absolve Adrian of anything that happened last year, but at the same time, look, LSU had a ridiculous team and they had the right guy at the controls last year to make it happen. And they kind of had, the perfect confluence of things come together for them to play the way they did. So yeah, it's a bad break for Nebraska, but at the same time, if you put those guys on the opposite roster, who knows what it would look like.
All right, you're probably the wrong person to ask about this, but
not the first time I've heard that. Go ahead.
In about a month, almost exactly a month from now, your guy Tiger is going to be back. He's going to be teamed up with Peyton Manning against Phil Mickelson and Tom Brady. Does Phil and Tom have a prayer against that matchup?
No, okay. I don't think so. No, it's I saw a great tweet today. They should play alternate shot, so like Tiger and Phil just have to keep getting up and down from these god awful positions.
Yes, that would be the most Or are they supposed to do 4 days of this, or is it just 2?
Yeah, I have no idea. Don't know.
But let's pretend. Let's say if it was like 2 days. Maybe the first day is a true best shot or match play or however you want to do it, but the next day is alternating shot. Because I think you're right to see the kind of situations that. That Brady and Peyton would put those guys in would be fun to see them extract from.
They biff a tee shot. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. And think about when I or you guys, you play with somebody who's a pretty good golfer, like you get nervous, right? Oh, that guy is really good. Now imagine you're teamed up with Tiger Woods. And it doesn't matter if you're Tom Brady or if you're me or Stibbs or whoever, you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself. So it'd be cool to see those guys, that were at the height of their chosen profession have the kind of same nerves and the same yips that we all get when we're playing in that situation.
I was really surprised Stibbs didn't weigh in for his guy Phil. He wasn't gonna.
Disappointed I have to kind of root for Tom Brady in something.
Well, you're just like John now. You're suddenly a big Tom Brady fan.
No,
big Buccaneers.
I just appreciate greatness. That's all. I just appreciate.
I'm with you, John.
By the way,
that's why I appreciate you guys.
Greg and Lincoln. John Josh Chris and Antifa Stibbs. Chris says Stibbs looks like Lone Ranger Coca-Cola edition.
Great local business.
Yes, Coke is a great local business invented right here in Omaha.
Nice.
It is an interesting look you have.
Thank you.
I like it.
I think
Tim.
you look great. You've never looked better, in my opinion.
Hard are you at? Do I sound okay?
No, you sound muffled. You sound awful.
Yeah, you sound muff. You sound like you got a mask over your mouth.
No.
Yeah,
Now you
better.
sound like Kenny.
Much better. Much better, Stibbs. Much better. Baz, you got any plans this weekend, or is it stare at the wall?
Stare at the wall, and that's the. I might try and play. My wife wants to go get plants this weekend and fill up the pots. So fill up the pots with the plants. So
Hey, I mean,
let's go. Let's turn it into our Olympics, baby.
I've
Let's
spent
do
the
it.
last 3 weeks working on my yard.
My yard has never looked better, and I'm not. This is not a lie. Like I turned the sprinklers on. Like I got the mower going. Like it looks primo.
Well, when you're mowing in that hat, I mean, come on,
That's right, buddy.
I mean, it's as close as you can get to the old Basnett farms where you're out there. You know,
I should show you my actual mowing hat. Can I go grab it? quick?
Yes, go get your
Hang
mowing
on,
hat. Yes,
hang on.
we're on TV. We're on Stibbs TV. We got
I
to
want
see
to know where he
this.
got that hat because I want one of those hats now too. I
That
don't
is a
think
sweet hat, and
is
the
a,
fact that it-
triple B hat.
Yeah, the fact that it is green too, I think, is really important
Yes,
because
it looks like the
that's
sign.
the road sign. All right.
All right, here's my mowing hat. You ready for this?
Oh, that is
Stibbs!
awesome.
Look at that! It's the Mariners, the old Mariners.
Let's go.
That is a great hat, Baz.
Are you
This
a
is
Mar-
authentic. This is authentic from Safeco Park up in Seattle.
Are you
This
a
was
Mariners
in
fan?
Safeco Park.
Or do you just like the logo?
Both. I was a big Ken Griffey Jr. fan.
Oh,
Like everybody. My brother did like an internship up there a few summers ago. I was like, hey, get me one of those sweet hats.
Oh,
So
I had a
I
buddy.
think they should go back to that logo.
totally agree. I'm one of those guys that every baseball team should go back to their throwback, like their old uniforms.
Yeah.
Even like the Rays with like the rainbow.
Oh yes,
like,
those were great.
Those
Yeah.
were really good. Those were
So-
really good.
Baz, where did you get the hat you're wearing right now? Do you know?
I do. I got it at the Pinnacle Bank Championship. I think the first year of the golf tournament, and they have you walked in through this thing, and they had like a booth set up.
Yeah.
And they had a deal where you could get like a polo shirt and this hat for like $40. And I just wanted the hat, so I've got a polo shirt and this hat.
All right.
Was
I
the
trying to
polo
find it
shirt-
online.
Was the polo shirt the same as the hat?
No, it was like a teal, like it had the Pinnacle Bank Championship logo.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, so no,
Golf
not the
shirts
same.
are dope.
Golf shirts are dope.
They are definitely dope.
Shout out to another local business, Lawler's
Yeah.
Sporting Goods. Check them out. I think they might have some stuff.
Oh,
There you
Hoodies,
go.
good to
potentially.
know.
There you
Yeah.
go. We could always use the help. Well, Baz, we appreciate it. Thank you, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, thanks, boys. Be safe.
Thanks,
We
Baz.
will. You too. There he is, Chris Basnett of the Lincoln Journal-Star. That is a dope hat.
Oh, it is
No-
indeed.
No doubt about it.
Oh my gosh, I might have just found it.
Online.
I'm looking at the website. It's a bunch of shirts. I'll find it. I'm gonna find this hat. I really want that.
Hey, if we have somehow found a way to make this hat a top seller, Baz is probably going to want like some residuals.
Residuals? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I would too.
He's probably going to want his cut, and he should, because he wears it well. He absolutely wears it well. We will be back, friends, on Stibbs TV in about an hour or so. Friend of the program, Jim, is going to join us, and he can explain to Josh how he is not in Western Nebraska, because he actually is, well, kind of from Western Nebraska.
Oh, yeah.
And he'll join us in our beer room conversation for One Beer Friday. You can start tweeting us your picks anytime. Hashtag One Beer Friday. Put them on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed, and show us what you're drinking this weekend as you get ready for another weekend of staring at the walls. And we will be back on the radio and in the regular stream at 1620thezone.com right after this, after we tell you about another super local business, McGow Law. McGow Law has been good supporters of 1620 The Zone. And if you need help with legal advice, go to McGow Law. McGow Law, 1620 The Zone salutes you. Back in a minute on The Zone.
Bye, Stibbs TV. See you later.